situations, be it a disease, chronic or acute, perhaps the loss of someone so dear to you in death, or a change of life patterns that has affected you so profoundly that you have no choice but to find your new normal and become focused on moving forward. Each episode is designed to show the positivity that people bring to each and every one of their stories, the successes they've had, ways that they have become so definitively focused on moving forward. We look forward to sharing their stories, and we hope that they inspire you just as much as they have inspired us. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to Focused on Forward. It's our standard Friday night live. Now, this week, we originally had scheduled to have a guest on the show, and I was going to have a co-host with me this week, but some plans got changed around. I didn't think I'd be home, so I wasn't going to do the live show. But then plans got changed again. Here I am. So we are broadcasting tonight from the comforts of home instead of the studio. So, but what I wanted to do tonight, I want to do two things. Number one, since I don't have the regularly scheduled guest that I would have for a live broadcast, I thought one of the things I'd like to do is replay an older interview. And it's one that's still very, very important to me and my family. It's a discussion with Nancy Sovran from Foundation charity here in the state of Michigan. And it's going national, but it's called Wish Upon a Teen. And what they do is they help out sick kids when they have an extended stay in the hospital. So as many of you know, back in 2019, when my daughter Kendall was in the hospital for her extended stay, this is one of the charities that helped our family out considerably. So I'm very honored to have had the opportunity to talk with Nancy to begin with, but I'm even happier that I get to replay this now so that hopefully more people will hear this. And I'm really hoping that you guys will strongly consider going to wishuponateen.org and talking with them and seeing what ways that you can help them out. Because as you may have imagined, over the last year, things have been pretty rough. Actually, the last year and a half or so have been pretty rough. Trying to get funding, because with COVID and shutdowns and all these other things, it's been very difficult for them to get funding. And so whatever we can do to help out, and I can help Nancy, and who helps all these wonderful kids who are just, having a little bit of a difficulty, we want to do that. So Wish Upon a Teen is a wonderful organization, and we want you guys to be able to check them out. So we're putting that right in the comments. Please check them out, wishuponateen.org. Go there, check them out, talk with them. You can donate through PayPal right on their website, and it works out really very well. Very easy to donate. I've donated myself through their website. Easy to do. So consider checking that out there. And then the other thing is, I said I was going to have a guest host tonight. So before we get into the replay, I want to show you something. And this is from Tracy Lowry. Now, Tracy Lowry was a guest on my show, on the pre-recorded show a couple weeks back. Now, we aired that episode. And Tracy is an amazing person. She's been through a lot in her life, but she's also finding ways that she can help other people. And she wrote a very, very inspiring book. And you can check her out right here at tracylowry.com. And so the book is called Hail to the Victor in You. It's a workbook to kind of help you through. And she runs a show called Multiform PTSD. I was a guest on her show. She was a guest on my show. And I was really looking forward to having her on tonight. We're going to work together in the future, and I'll have Tracy on again as well. But go check out the book. I don't think you're going to be disappointed by what you find there. But that is at Tracy Lowry, and I'm going to put that in the comments as well, tracylowry.com, and you guys can go there and check that out, and you'll have an opportunity to order the book right from her website. And if you don't want to order from her website, I believe it'll tell you all the links of where you can find it and where you can look it up. So, but yeah, do yourselves a favor, check that out. I'm sure that you will not be disappointed by what you find on Tracy's website or her podcast either, the Multiform PTSD. But let's get into the replay of the video. This is Nancy Sovran from Wish Upon a Teen.
The podcast you're about to listen to, Focused on Forward, was created on Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First off, it's free. Free is always amazing. Secondly, there's a creation tool that's going to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone, tablet, or computer. Anchor is going to take that podcast and going to distribute it for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and so many other platforms. And you get to make money from your podcast right away with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one convenient place. So how do you find it and use it? Well, go to your app store, download the free Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. You too can make a podcast. You can do it with Anchor. Welcome to Focused on Forward. The purpose of this podcast is to focus on recovery from life situations, be it a disease, chronic or acute, perhaps the loss of someone so dear to you in death, or a change of life patterns that has affected you so profoundly that you have no choice but to find your new normal and become focused on moving forward. Each episode is designed to show the positivity that people bring to each and every one of their stories, the successes they've had, ways that they have become so definitively focused on moving forward. We look forward to sharing their stories, and we hope that they inspire you just as much as they have inspired us. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to Focused on Forward. Today we're talking with Nancy Sovran, who works with a charity called Wish Upon a Teen. Wish Upon a Teen has a very personal attachment to myself and my family. Last year while my daughter Kendall was in the hospital, Wish Upon a Teen kind of snuck in our room while we were out at therapy, and we came back to a beautiful beach setting. They had revamped the room, made it pretty. And the reason why Wish Upon a Teen is so important to me is because that was the first time I had seen my daughter smile in weeks. As many of you know, we spent 97 days in the hospital battling Guillain-Barré syndrome. And when you're in the darkest and depths of the depths and these hard places, it's hard to find your smile, especially for a child who's going through this and does not understand why they're having to go through this. But to have her come back into her room and have these gifts laying on her bed and have her room redecorated was an immensely powerful thing. So Nancy, I want to take a moment just to thank you for that and what your charity does. It's hugely important. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that this isn't just something you do, but you have a personal investment in this as well. So when you're ready and willing, would you share your story with us?
Well, absolutely. First, Tim, thank you so much for inviting me on this afternoon. I was looking forward to talking to you again. It warms my heart when parents of past teens, that we've designed their room, reach out to us. And, it happens more than, I look back and I'm like, wow, we do have a lot of, parents reach back out because it's so impactful what we do. I mean, teenagers, who are in the hospital long-term, just have it so difficult with the isolation, being away from their family and their friends. And they're at such an age where being isolated isn't good for them. And 8 years ago, I got involved with Wish Upon a Teen in 2012 when my daughter Hope underwent a bone marrow transplant at C.S. Mott Children's Hospital in Ann Arbor. It was a really dark time for our whole family. She got sick like overnight, had to have a transplant. We have 9 kids in our family, so including Hope. So 8 of them, and then us, we all got tested to be a bone marrow donor. And our youngest was the only match. She was 7 years old at the time. So it was a very overwhelming time for our family. And one day at the hospital, we got a knock on the door and said, you know what? We want you to fill out this referral because Wish Upon a Teen wants to come and decorate your Hope's room. And so I'm like, okay, I don't even know what you're talking about, but let me, take a look. I filled out the referral, and if I don't know if you filled out the referral for Kendall.
I think my wife did actually. Yeah, I think my
Their
wife
age,
did.
their size, what clothing size, the length of stay, what their theme, what they want for their room. Do they have a professional sports team they like? Do they have a person that they admire, or is their favorite celebrity? What are their hobbies and interests? Their favorite color? And if they could decorate their hospital room, how would they want it decorated and why? That is my favorite question. And I love when I read everything. But you know what I've been getting lately, and just to get off topic a little bit, I've been getting a lot of kids, when we ask, the person that they admire and their favorite celebrity, a lot of them say their parents.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Really sweet. And the one boy that I just did a room for at my hospital had his brother as his favorite person that he admired because his brother was his bone marrow donor. So
that's cool.
I know. So there's just so many things. So get back to Hope's story is, we filled out, this referral, and I didn't think much of it. I'm like, oh, a couple of things, but they came into the room and they said, Hope, we took Hope down to the playroom, the activity room, and they decorated, and they involved two of our kids that were there at the time too, because the siblings, it's kind of hard. You're kind of in no man's zone when your sibling is sick. You don't know where to go or what to do. And so they helped decorate. And Hope's theme of her room was TV shows. She loves Friends. She loves Glee. She likes Full House. She likes anything that makes her laugh and just makes her feel good. So, and she likes the color purple. So that's what they did her room in. And it was, when you should have saw the look, well, you from Kendall, your daughter, that look on their face is better than any medicine that they could have gotten to make them feel better. And from that moment on, the impact of having her room designed was unbelievable. It changed like the path that she was going through. Like during the day, I would spend the days at the hospital. My husband would do the nights. But in that, instance where, because we had young kids at home, I had to be home, someone had to go to sports, and my husband was driving in from Detroit to Ann Arbor. We felt okay for that half hour or 45 minutes that Hope was going to be alone because her room was rocking it. It was beautiful. She was happy. Even the staff loved to come into a room like this because, there's speakers, there's music, it speaks of the teen, and the teen becomes more, willing participant in their healthcare. They're like, the doctors can know to ask them questions. Oh, I didn't know you liked that show. I love that show. Or that's my favorite football team. And it takes everything full circle. And so Hope got, discharged a month later, and, she brought everything home with her, and some of the stuff is still in her room 8 years later. And I decided, I had taken a leave of absence because Hope was sick. So I, couldn't afford to donate. I wish I could have, but I can donate my time and my energies. And so I became a volunteer for Wish Upon a Teen. And then they asked me to interview for the community development specialist. And at the time there were only in 6 hospitals between Michigan, Minnesota, and LA. And so I grew up from 6 hospitals, and now we're in over 90 hospitals across the United States. So that was a real work, to introduce, Wish Upon a Teen. It's a no-cost program. It doesn't cost the hospital anything. It doesn't cost the patients anything. We did that, and it was easy for me to talk to these hospitals because I lived it with my child. And, I knew firsthand the impact that it was, and, this would be a good thing for everybody. And so hospitals were quick to jump on. And then I think 6 months later, the executive director got married and moved upstate. And so I was asked to, step into the role. So I've been doing it for 5 years. I've been doing it for 5.5 years, executive director. And I'm the only employee. I do have a lady, a senior citizen lady, who will do some of my, writing for us, applying for grants, writing PR, press releases and such, but I'm it. We have the founder, Michelle Soto, and then we have a board, but I do the day-to-day, everything. I do, the ordering of the rooms, shipping of the rooms, if it's not in Michigan, if it's in Michigan, since COVID, I just drop it off and the hospital staff or the family will decorate the room. So, and lately I've been, dropping off gift bags for my teens on their front porch, all social distancing. I don't even tell them I'm coming. I leave it on the porch, and then I text the parent and say, I just left something on your porch.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And we partner up, with different nonprofits to make this happen. Like this week, yesterday, one of my teens, Tommy, last July, he was getting ready to go to Michigan State. Tommy had a heart transplant when he was 9 years old. So, for many years he took immunosuppressant drugs, and he got diagnosed with cancer last July, and he was supposed to leave to go to Michigan State in August as a freshman. And so, he fought the battle, and he won, and he's doing great. Well, his oncologist and his cardiologist said, you can go, but you can start your freshman year at Michigan State. You can go back. Well, as you know, I'm sure you know that,
Yeah, they're all virtual right now.
Canceled. Yeah, you can't live on campus. You everything's online. Tommy was devastated, just devastated. And so
I can imagine.
I just got thinking, all right, I can't sit here, and I know just the devastation. I've seen this on my teens' faces. They have so much disappointment. And so I'm like, all right, what can I do? So we have, people in the area who will reach out and say, do you have any teens that need something special? And there's one wonderful woman in my area. Her name's Kelly, who I reached out to. I said, hey, if I find out what Tommy wants, would you be interested in, donating it or getting it? And she goes, absolutely. And so I texted Tommy's mom, and I said, okay, what's one thing that I said, does he need a computer? What does he need? What would be good for him? And so he wanted this JBL speaker that's kind of psychedelic, that lights up. And I guess the quality, the sound quality is unbelievable. So Kelly ordered it for him. And so I dropped it off yesterday, which was an amazing day because he was starting his online classes, Michigan State online classes, in his bedroom. And so, so that, it made, he sent me a text. Where did I find my phone? He sent me a text last night actually, and said that, hold on, I will read it to you because he said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I love it. Tell Kelly I love it so much. It was so thoughtful of you guys. This made my whole week a lot better. And, that's what we try to do. I mean,
yeah, that's cool.
I just, we do the rooms, but, for the kids living close to us, and I would love for Kendall to come to our prom that hopefully we'll have next year, because we had to cancel it this year. But we want them to be a part of Wish Upon a Teen. And we're not a one and done kind of thing. We want to involve them, and we want to be by their side. We want to be through this journey that they're not alone, their families, that they're not alone. So I feel like, it's like almost mission work that I do. I love it so much that I don't feel like it's a job. I went and spoke last Sunday at a recharge retreat, and I talked about your email to me and what you were doing for Wish Upon a Teen. And that was the first time you saw your daughter smile in a long time. That is so impactful. And I take that with me when I hear messages like that. But Tim, your email was so beautiful. And so I spoke about that last Sunday. So your ears might have been ringing, but
well, that does explain that. Yes.
yeah. There you go. It's not a medical condition. I was talking about you, but I love it so much because it is so immediate when you design a room, as you saw with your daughter. I mean, it's immediate, the change in them. And, it's just like this month is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. So each day I am introducing on social media everybody to a teen and their mom. I just picked the mom, and a couple of our kids have guardians, but I wanted the mom to write the story, or the parent to write the story about the impact of the Design My Room, because I know from the teens what it means. But I want to know from the parent. And I think you started me thinking on that. Like, I want to hear from the parents what it meant to them, because it involves the whole family. And the stories that I've posted this week on social media are unbelievable. the impact that it made on the family, that the parent didn't think about, their hospital room is their hospital room. But until then they have it decorated, they see the big difference.
Oh, that's exactly what it is, because I can speak from personal experience on this. You get to a point when your child's in a hospital for an extended stay, where you kind of get to the point where you just kind of run through the motions. You're doing what you need to do to get through that day, to get your child through that day.
Absolutely.
And to come back to a room that is completely redecorated, it changed the whole persona of it.
I know, it was fun doing her room too.
Yeah, and to see the look on her face, and to know that room helped her relax. That room took stress off of her, because for those who are listening, the room was redecorated in a beach theme. My daughter loves the water. I think she's part fish. And she loves the beach. She loves Lake Michigan. And so we were already in a room that had a huge mural behind us about a beach. And so we were very fortunate to start off with that. And then all the things that you guys did inside of the room only accentuated that. And her favorite thing, which she still has in the room, we had some pineapple lights that we strung up, that you guys had strung up. And so we have those pineapple lights still. We have the bedding that you guys use. She uses that at home. All these different things that were part of that room and part of that experience, that most people, when they walk out of the hospital, they go, I don't want to think about that again. I don't want
to. But it changes that. It totally changes it.
Because we talk about the hospital and there's, let's be honest about it. There's negative experiences when you're in a hospital for a long period of time and you're dealing with a sick child. Right. And you try to find the silver lining to everything. Because when you're in that situation, you're grasping at that straw.
Right. But you are.
But with this situation, it gave us something positive to talk about. And when we talk about staying at Mary Free Bed, which, by the way, if you're in Western Michigan and you need a rehabilitative hospital,
number one.
Oh,
it's
man.
The best.
I can't say enough good things about Mary Free Bed and their staff. Beautiful, wonderful people.
It's an amazing facility.
Yes, it is. And, so we always talk about that. Oh yeah, the staff was great. It was great. But, let me tell you what they did this Wish Upon a Teen did for my daughter's room. That's one of the first things we always talk about because it was that impactful to what happened with our family.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that, because, you hope as an executive director, and that you're making an impact. I knew we were, because my family lived it, but I just want to make sure that, that we are doing that. And I'm telling you, it's just these teens, you walk into a unit, and I was there at Mary Free Bed. Most of these units are they're pediatrics, so they're not geared towards the teenager. And so, they become anxious, they become depressed, they spend more time in that hospital room than they do their own house. And so you try to change that for them, that make them feel their age because they're on a pediatric floor. And it's just, and their activities are restricted, and, they feel socially isolated, and that's just awful. So, when those emotional issues go unaddressed, it leads to withdrawal, it leads to anxiety, rebelliousness, and even depression. So, if we can change that path, that negative path, and bring it back, it does help the physical, illness. It really does.
Yeah, excellent. And I can attest to that it does help with that, because you're there. There's not much that they can do, especially with my daughter fighting Guillain-Barré syndrome. She was learning to walk again, learning to use her hands again, learning to do all these things again. And so there was a lot of extra stress and things. And so, there were times where she would take a mid-afternoon nap and we'd shut all the blinds and the curtains, turn on the pineapple light. She'd put her little eye mask on and listen to.
I love that. I love that.
And she just kind of let the little stresses go away.
I know. And, when you think about it, pineapple lights, oh my God, to a teen in the hospital, those pineapple lights at that moment meant everything to her, and probably to you as well. And to me, I love that. I love that. I'm going to look at pineapple lights differently now. Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
I might have
It's, there you go. Yeah. It's amazing. Just these little things that happen, and how impactful they are, and how long, we'll carry this feeling with us for, till the end of my days. I know that, the level of appreciation that I have, as well. So let me ask you a couple quick questions. First off, how's Hope doing now?
She's doing pretty good. It's been a long 8 years. I mean, the year after her transplant, she had to have an open heart. We were on vacation in Charleston, South Carolina, visiting family. And for that year after transplant, Hope had a estrogen patch because they put all your female, system to sleep while you go through a bone marrow transplant. And so what happened is we were on vacation, and Hope was born with spina bifida. I left that out. I'm sorry. So she's been in a wheelchair. She's paralyzed from the waist down. So she's been in a wheelchair her entire life, or when she was old enough to sit up and be in a wheelchair. So she's had 119 surgeries. So, life had already dealt her, a pretty rough, a hand. So when she got diagnosed, literally, she was deathly ill. She woke up with a nosebleed that wouldn't stop, and it was awful. And then all of a sudden she got this rash all over her body. It was petechiae because her platelets were at 2. And so they got her in the hospital. Wow. And they said, yeah, we're sending you from Beaumont to U of M. She needs a transplant. We're like, whoa, what? And so that's how fast everything happened. And because she was so sick. So the next year we went on vacation. She had been wearing this patch, and she's had a shunt since she was born because, of the spina bifida, because it's a hole in the spine. They closed up the hole, but from where that point is, she's paralyzed. And so it's from her L1, L2. So she's paralyzed from that point on. And so like from her waist on down.
Okay.
And so she was getting a headache. So we thought it was a shunt malfunction. So she went in, we took her to the Children's Hospital, MUSC in Charleston. And they said, yeah, her shunt looks like that it might be malfunctioning, but we want to do this other test to put, a scope down and see what's going on. Maybe there's like a clot somewhere. Well, thank God this doctor was an angel sent from above, as they found that she had a golf-sized clot between her shunt. She has a VA shunt that goes from her brain to her heart to, get the spinal fluid. There was a clot the size of a golf ball there. And the only way they couldn't just dissolve it. The only way to get it out without her dying was open heart surgery. We're on vacation, although we were with family down there, but so she had open heart surgery down there. And, 1 year after her transplant. And so, but she's had, some other surgeries since then, and shunt malfunctions. That's part of, having a shunt. She's up to, I think, 119 operations, but she's doing great. She's doing great. She's in the post-secondary program for Birmingham schools. And I have to tell you, this COVID hasn't been easy when you're social like Hope. And, she's in this special ed program. And so, online education is just not easy for them. Not easy for them at all.
No, it's great in theory. But, Kendall's a very social girl too, and she's having some struggles with it as well.
It is. And it's really hard. It's very hard. And, we have a junior in high school. We just have the 2 at home. Our most of our kids live out, and our other one is at Michigan State. And our other is a junior in high school, and she's like, in her bedroom on the computer working. And I mean, working hard, but there's no socialization. And, it's hard. We have to be careful. Like you, I'm sure we have to be careful with Kendall, with their immunocompromised. We don't take any chances. I don't play any games.
No, absolutely. No chances taken.
No chances taken. So, but this has been a really difficult week for everybody in our household because of the online school and, just trying to figure it out, trying to figure out the Zoom thing and, the technology and, and trying to do my job help Hope and, help Kathleen and hope I'm doing the right by them. But, it all works out, but it's been stressful.
Yeah, I bet. I can understand to some degree. So let me ask you, here's my second question. And you kind of led into it a little bit there with what you were talking about. So we're talking about COVID and all of the wonderful things that the year 2020 has brought upon us. Now, typically, it's my understanding that you guys, a lot of your funding comes from donations, fundraisers, things like that. How has COVID impacted Wish Upon a Teen in the year 2020?
It's impacted us greatly. We've had 4 fundraisers postponed or canceled, indefinitely. And who knows when it's going to happen. So that was, 45% of our budget, close to 50% of our budget. So that's, hit us hard. So, I've been pounding the pavement to get, people to sponsor Design My Rooms, because, I do have a couple kids on the waiting list, but it'll all work out. But, we got to keep moving forward. And it's been very stressful because, we don't know. And like we have a prom that raises money as well. And we were supposed to have that on April 25th in the Detroit area. And last year we had 154 teens. And we obviously had to postpone it. We have it at the Imagine Theater in Royal Oak. And we do it with Mojo in the Morning. They're a big radio
Oh, yeah, very
show.
familiar with them.
Yeah, they're very involved with Wish Upon a Teen.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I did not know that.
yes, they are. And so we had to postpone it. And the sad thing is there's going to be some kids that won't make it till next year. That this was their prom, and it's a traditional prom in every sense of the word, but a lot of our kids are on hospice. And so, we send Ubers to the hospital to bring the kids, and so it
that's
broke my
cool.
heart. Yeah, it broke my heart to cancel it. And I still get texts from some of the teens saying, Nancy, when are we having prom? I'm like, I don't know. When's COVID going to be over with? I'm like,
yeah, your hands are kind of tied, aren't they?
I know. And they're like, oh, but we do everything for them for prom. We do hair and we do makeup, and it's just an amazing event. And, everybody deserves to have that opportunity to go to prom, whether they want to go or not, then that's on them. But we want everybody to have that opportunity. And these kids miss out. A lot of people, everybody's complaining, the last 6 months with COVID, everybody's had to stay home and, quarantine. Some of these kids, like Kendall and Hope, they've been doing this for a long time. They've been doing this quarantine stuff for a long time.
Right.
And so everybody's getting kind of a taste of what these kids go through. And, they miss, freshman and sophomore year. They miss holidays with their families. I mean, that's kind of the norm with a lot of our teens. And, it's just hard when I hear people complaining that they have to be home for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow for sure. I think
I understand, but it's just our teens, and they're even more isolated now in the hospital, Tim, is, you and your wife could be in Mary Freebread when your daughter was there, but right now, well, in COVID, the kids could only have one parent.
Yeah, I read about that. I read about that with all this starting, and my wife and I talked about that. I'm like, how would you
imagine?
No, I the thing is that, we both put, and I'm self-employed. And so it was a little easier for me, but my wife works for a major, a university. She works for Ferris State University, and Ferris State was amazing, and how they worked with us and what they've done for our family and the ways that different members of the Ferris State community reached out and showed their concern, not only just for Kendall, but for my wife and I and our whole family, really.
That's wonderful.
A beautiful family feeling there at the university. They really try to engender that. But, neither one of us, I think I left the hospital twice while we were during that 97-day stretch. And each time I did, something catastrophic happened. And I was like, no, never leaving again. So I don't know how I would, and I feel for these parents.
Oh, it's awful. So
Yeah.
Our need has even grown, even more because, especially from like March until beginning of June, only one parent, it had to be the same parent. they could not switch out. I mean, that parent could go home, but that same parent could only be the same one that went back to the hospital.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah.
that pediatric patient, and that's how it was in our area. I don't know if it was different in other areas, but so that child was only seeing that one parent and being isolated even more. And it was breaking my heart. And so, we had to pivot, which is another one of those COVID words I can't stand, pivot. There's just a whole list of words that now that, they've overused them, but we did. And so we're like, okay, what can we do? What can we do? We need to reach these kids. We need to do something. We need to reach our kids that are at home, getting delayed in treatment because of COVID. So there was a nonprofit called Flashes of Hope, and they go into the hospitals and they take portraits of kids. So they reached out to me, and I reached out. We talked for a long time because they had taken a portrait of Hope when she was in the hospital while she was having her transplant. You don't think about having a portrait taken of your child when they're really sick, but it's the most beautiful picture I have of her. So they make these happy packs.
Cool.
Yeah, they make these happy packs, and they're filled with either an Amazon gift card and other stuff, or an Amazon Fire tablet. And they said, we would love to send you some. And I'm like, oh my God, this would be the perfect thing for me to leave on the front doorsteps for these kids. And so that's what I did for from end of March, beginning of April till the end of May. I was like an elf. They would ship me like 20 at a time. And I would just, look through my list of my teens and kind of start with the teens that I knew were struggling. And I would just leave them on their front porch. Or we bought in groceries, for, some families that I knew. Like one family I went to drop off a fanny, one of the happy packs, and I could tell they didn't have anything. And that teen was in the hospital, and this is a single parent with 5 kids. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to do something. So one of our celebrity ambassadors, Trick, who's a big time rapper, donated money for us to go grocery shopping. And so we went and did.
How awesome is that?
Yeah. And we got them a gas card because she was going back and forth to the hospital. And so, we've been doing little Zoom things. We did a Zoom thing with a Broadway actress, and she sang some songs. So we've been trying to think outside of the box. But once June hit and, things were because hospitals were closed down, nothing coming in, nothing going out. And I would maybe even say before June 1st, maybe mid-May, we started and we started shipping to hospitals, in California back. We're starting shipping back again. If I would order for like a design my room, like we did for your daughter. If it's a hospital that's not in the state of Michigan, I would have everything shipped directly from Amazon right to the hospital, and they decorate, or the family decorates. And so I was doing that for out of state, and then it started picking up in the state of Michigan again. And then it was just roller coaster. It was more and more, and I've been trying to keep up. But what I do is I deliver to the front door, give it to the child life specialist or the social worker or whoever, and then they go upstairs and either they decorate it or the family decorates. And then they send me pictures, so I get to see all the awesome things. And we've had some Michael Fulmer, who pitches for the Detroit Tigers. Him and his wife have been very involved with Wish Upon a Teen, and they've just sponsored, and actually they shopped for 2 rooms just recently. And so, because his wife Kelsey has been involved, we're personally been going in and doing the rooms, so they know they've seen the impact like you and I have. And so it's just been, I got a text today that there's a young boy at a local hospital that's not going to come home from the hospital. He has cancer, and his mom died 3 years ago of cancer, and he's just with him and his dad. And so they wanted to know if I would, drop off, they would love for him to be in a beautiful room. I'm like, absolutely, so they're going to get me all that information tomorrow. But,
oh, good.
I know. So, I'm so grateful for you inviting me here today to talk about it. But I'm telling you, when I got that email and we talked, I was just it just makes me feel like sometimes you do need a little reminder, during this time of COVID, because everybody's kind of down and it's very difficult. And I know I said before, I wish people would understand, our teens go through this all the time. It's hard on people. It's hard on everybody. Everybody's struggling, and we're trying our best. And I did need a little reminder. I was like, am I really making a difference? Am I like doing it? And your email, and when we talked that day, I'm like, yeah, okay. I feel good.
Oh, good. I'm glad I could help with that.
Yeah, I just needed a reminder that what we're doing, and I knew, but COVID's just been really hard, been really difficult.
Yeah, it's been a butt kicker for many a person this year. That is for sure.
It has.
Absolutely.
It has.
So,
Yep.
Nancy, how can people help? Is there a way for them to donate directly to Wish Upon a Teen, or what ways can people help? I guess that's the next question we need to ask.
Well, mostly, donating to sponsor a room or even a portion of a room. I mean, whatever anybody wants to donate, they can go visit our website at www.wishuponateen.org. And there's a donate button, or they can email me at nancy@wishuponateen.org. And if they wanted to volunteer, in their area, and, once we're able to go back in hospitals, they can come and help decorate, or they can help with prom. And, we do spa days for kids, hopefully someday down the line, they're just, or if they have a company that wants to get involved. We've had companies, of the kids that we've done their rooms, their dad's company or their mom's company said, hey, we want to sponsor a room a year, one room a month for a year. And that's happened a couple of times, which has been wonderful.
That's fantastic.
And so like if there's a corporation that, is civic minded, most corporations are now, they want to be seen as giving back to their community. And let me say, we've all been teenagers. And by the grace of God, I mean, we're all, most of us have made it out, okay. We didn't have those serious life medical illnesses like, many of our, like my daughter and your daughter and a lot of the teens. So this is just, it's a no-brainer. It's like, it's so easy to sponsor a room, and sometimes like this lady called yesterday, she goes, I want to sponsor a room, but I want to shop too. I'm like, that's okay. You can drop it off at my house. She lives in the next city over. And once I get a referral, I'll let her, know what the theme is, and she'll shop. And, people just want to, they want to know where to give, and they want to make a difference. They just don't sometimes know where to look. And so that's why I appreciate you having us on today, because and the cost, I can just say this, the cost to decorate a room is $250. It's very doable.
Okay. No, that's very good information to have. I think another way too, I'd like to bring up for people to be able to donate, and it's something that you can do. So Amazon has a program called the Smile program.
Yes, that's us. We're on that.
So yeah, so the currently the charity that we donate to, my family donates to, is Wish Upon a Teen. So any purchases that we make, and we've probably made more purchases on Amazon this year, I think, than ever before. But if you just Google Amazon Smile program, if you're a Prime member and you do a lot of shopping on Amazon, please select Wish Upon a Teen as your charity. And then you shop from that smile.amazon.com. Every single time, a portion of your purchase goes to Wish Upon a Teen. So you may think, well, I can't support them outright. I can't, donate the $250. I can't do this. I can't do that. Here's something you can do. If you're already buying things from Amazon, please select Wish Upon a Teen as your charity, and you can drive money to them without even trying. When you buy your headset, they get money. When you buy an album, they get money. All these different things is a nice, subtle way to make sure that Wish Upon a Teen gets the money they need to help these kids, because it is an amazing thing that they're doing, and I want to make sure that they get every bit of help that they can.
Thank you, Tim. And this Amazon Smile, it's a great thing because you're buying it anyways. You're going on and you're getting whatever you need off of Amazon. And if you go to this amazon.smile.com, I mean, it generates funds. And I love when that happens. And, people don't have to sponsor a whole room. They can, do an Amazon gift card. They can have one sent to us. They can do a Target gift card, or they can, $5, $10, every bit goes to
it all adds up. It all adds up. Whether you can go to wishuponateen.org and donate $1, $100, whatever it is you can donate. that amount of money is going to add up, because your dollar with 100 other people's dollars is $100, and then they have, that's going to a room, and that's helping a kid, and it's an amazing thing. So another thing I'd like to bring up, another way that you can help. I recently started on a secondary podcast, so of course this is focused on Forward, and a group of friends of mine and myself included have started another podcast called the Funny Science Fiction Podcast. Where we talk about things in the sci-fi world with a little bit of irreverence. So whereas this has a serious tone most days, funny science fiction is just that. We try to be funny, a little humorous about things. But we have a line of merchandise that we're selling, and there'll be a separate video that we'll post about that regarding this with Nancy. But I'm going to include a link to that in the post description. So if you'd like to go buy one of these shirts or a coffee mug, a phone case, whatever it may be, stickers, magnets, 100% of the proceeds of that are going to go to Wish Upon a Teen. And it's very important.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
it's very important to me that we find a way to help you guys out, and that we find a way to get you guys the money that you need to help these kids. Because what you guys did for my family, I can say thank you, but thank you just doesn't seem to be enough. So but yeah, so that will all be included there, and with a link to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast, so that they can get that information and buy that merchandise. Go out and buy it, guys. Go to Amazon.smile and select them as your charity. Go to wishuponateen.org and send them some money. What they're doing counts, and it has a huge impact. So Nancy, thank you so very much for being on today. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for talking with us. But most importantly, thank you for doing what you're doing and helping these kids and their families in a time when they may not realize how much of your help they need.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate all that you do and all that you want to do to help, Wish Upon a Teen and teens moving forward, because, what we do is critical and it is needed. And your generosity is incredible. So thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, guys, that's what we need you to do. Go to Amazon Smile, go to wishuponateen.org, buy those shirts in the merch link. Let's make this happen. Let's get these guys some money. So thank you very much for listening today. And that's going to wrap up Focused on Forward. Well, that concludes another episode of Focused on Forward. To be a guest of Focused on Forward, you can reach us through Twitter at PodcastFOF, through our Facebook page named Focused on Forward, or through email, focusedonforward@gmail.com.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in, all that you have so far. And I just want to say again how much I love Wish Upon a Teen, and I really do hope that you guys go to wishuponateen.org. We'll share that real quick to the webpage here, their webpage rather, to the stream. It's very easy to find. They do some amazing things for kids who are struggling and who have some health issues, and frankly, you guys, when you include this in your in the way that you reach out and you help your community, you're helping these kids who are they're struggling with having to be confined into the hospital. And so we want to make sure that these kids have an opportunity to really enjoy what they're doing, where they're at, as much as they can, because let's be honest, they're having a rough go there in the hospital. And so if we can help them even have a little bit of enjoyment, by donating, by going directly to this website, wishuponateen.org, you have a lot of ways there that you can help out. Also, as mentioned in the podcast, there is also from my other podcast, Funny Science Fiction Podcast, you have the opportunity to go to this website here, and you can order this shirt. You can buy it as a shirt. You can buy it as a hoodie, a sticker, kids clothing lines. There's mugs, there's masks, there's notebooks, phone cases. There's a million different ways that you can look at this and that you can get a design that works for you. It's Star Trek themed, so if you're a Star Trek, it's based on the Red Shirt Widows, and it's called the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund. It's a humorous take on the red shirts, from Star Trek. So if you're a Star Trek fan, natural tie-in there for you guys. But please go to that, and that is already in the comments, and you'll be able to click that link as well. So, take a chance on that. And 100% of the profits, the proceeds, that's being donated by River City Teas very graciously. We're very proud and happy to work alongside them. Also, now we mentioned it earlier, but if you weren't here for the very beginning, we want to make sure that you are aware that tonight we were supposed to have a guest host, and that is Tracy Lowry. Tracy was supposed to be here if we were going to have an original, if we were going to have a guest, and she was going to help us talk with them, but with changing circumstances on my end, not on Tracy's, she wasn't able to make it tonight because I didn't think I was going to make it tonight. So anyway, but go to her website, tracylowry.com, and if you go to tracylowry.com, you can find her book. You can find information about her podcast, which is, of course, the Multiform PTSD show. But she talks about things along those lines, mental health, PTSD related. Very, very cool podcast. So that's it for tonight, guys. I just want to say thank you for listening in. Please, I implore you, go to wishuponateen.org. Make a donation there through PayPal. Go to River City Teas at TeePublic, and you can buy that shirt or whatever design feature you choose to pick it up in. And 100% of the profits, the proceeds there, are going directly to Wish Upon a Teen. And I know that we've been able, through Funny Science Fiction, we've been able to make several donations to them, and we're very proud of that. And then also Amazon Smile. If you're a Prime member, please sign up for Amazon Smile. Please select Wish Upon a Teen, and a portion of every single purchase that you make goes to Wish Upon a Teen. How amazing is that? You don't have to put any thought into it. The record you just bought, Wish Upon a Teen gets money. The new headphones you bought, Wish Upon a Teen gets money. All your little purchases, they get a portion of that, and all those things add up. And if a bunch of people do it, it really adds up. So please help out Wish Upon a Teen as much as you possibly can. That's it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time on Focused on Forward.
Well, that concludes another episode of Focused on Forward. To be a guest of Focused on Forward, you can reach us through Twitter at podcastfof, through our Facebook page named Focused on Forward, or through email focusedonforward@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing each and every one of your stories that has yet to be told. So until then, be safe, be kind, and be loving to one another as you stay focused on forward.